Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 5, Episode 14, DJI Mavic 3 and DJI Mini 3 updates. Hope everyone is doing well. We got a jam-packed show tonight. First of all, we're wishing Mr. Marcus Crawford and Mr. Ron Braun safe travels back to Idaho and New Jersey, respectively. They are on their way back, so they will not be joining us tonight. They may be watching. They may be in the chat, so make sure you do greet them in the chat if you have that opportunity. We're going to be talking. We have very special guest tonight, Captain Ray Kelly. Okay. And it's going to sound like a brag on Captain Ray Kelly show tonight because that's what I'm going to be doing. And also very special guest, Matt Cundiff, who was also a great part of making the South Florida Drone Meetup a great success. It was a wonderful time. We're going to jump into this here. Okay. And one of the things that in this recap, and I got to say this at the top, and I'm probably going to mention it again in closing. Okay. And I know, and I watched. We're going to be watching part of Ron and Marcus's video from last night. I asked them to share. They want to share about a particular event that happened during the event. Okay. So I'm going to be playing that clip here in a little bit, but one of the most overriding things that I got from everything was you guys are just absolutely incredible. Getting to shake hands and meet, like I was able to, meet Johnny, meet Ray, meet Michael Wright. Michael's obviously not in the chat. Johnny's same way. They're heading back tonight too, wishing them both as well safe travels. Just getting to meet a bunch of people. I got to say this, Mark Fisher, if you're watching, okay. Mark doesn't have 5-hour energy. He has 24-hour energy. Okay. They need to bottle him. They need to find a way to bottle him and sell him. And Mark, you need to figure that out because you can be on Easy Street, my friend. You can buy all the equipment you want. You figure that out. I've never seen anybody with as much energy going around, positive energy like Mark Fisher. It was great to meet Mark. Just meeting people. And it was great. And you know what? And I got to say this, all right? We all get times when those of us that are running channels like Ron and Marcus and I and others, we all get times that we kind of get, are we doing any good? Are we providing any value to the drone community and everything? Sometimes, we expected this video to get some decent views and it didn't. And, you just kind of question yourself. Well, let me tell you this, okay? I can't tell you how many of you came up to me, okay, seriously, and said, Bill, thank you so much for what you do. I've learned so much from your videos. Keep up the good work. This was repeated time and time again. And I'll tell you what, guys, okay? It was like it was like humble pie. It really was. Also, too, got to meet Art, okay? And it was the first time I met Art. And I got to say this. It was fantastic meeting you, Art. And Art's in the chat. And welcome tonight, by the way. Lauren, welcome as well. Cryptoman 5000. Johnny's in the chat. Welcome, Johnny. Glad to see you here tonight. So, I got to say this, okay? Meeting all of you guys was just incredible and awesome. Some of you I didn't get a chance to meet. I got to meet Ron Lockwood, and I've known Ron for several years, and it was great to meet him as well too. It was just fantastic and just incredible. It was just such a good time. I can't say that enough. And I'm gonna brag on Captain Ray. I got to say this, okay? Captain Ray put on a first class event. All right, it was from start to finish. It was great. That Friday night meet and greet was fantastic. Okay, we did it at a bowling alley, billiard room. We're kind of like one in the same place. Most of us, we all hung out over in the billiard area. Had some great food there, and we're able to walk around and talk and get to know people. It was fantastic. I got to meet Marcus. Okay, and I got to say this, guys. Okay, Marcus is way better looking in person than he is on camera. All right. Just kidding. No, Marcus is a good looking guy. But you know what? It was just pressing the fret, shaking hands and getting to meet these guys, and it was nice to get reacquainted with Ron. A lot of them brought spouses. I know Greg Pittman was there. Great. Greg, it was great to meet you as well. And I believe your wife was there. I know Al Duran was there. Dennis Lovelady was there. Guys, it was just, running on and on and on and on and on. Lawrence from those guys was there. Just met John from those guys. Guys, it was just, I can't say enough. I'm like a run-on sentence here, okay? And it was a pretty quick 3-hour trip from where we live, okay, over here in Tampa. And it was all pretty much back roads. I mean, well, I won't say Route 60 is a pretty major route between east-west route in Florida. And, it was a pleasant trip both ways. And was very happy about that. Not happy about the gas, but that's enough. It's like, you're like, is the gasoline going to cost more in your hotel room kind of a thing? That's what it was kind of like. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyway. All right. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to run through, I have some snippets of videos and some pictures that I took, and I want to run through that. I did also use my Osmo Action quite a bit. I'm going to put a little video together, so that should be out in a few days, so stay tuned for that. But I'm going to go ahead and show some of these. Like I said, there's some brief videos and some pictures, and you just get to kind of get a flavor for what it was like. So I'm going to go ahead and get that up on the screen here. And you got to see there's Al Duran. That's Dennis Lovelady right there. Michael Wright, Marcus is there, and Ray's there. And I don't know who's standing. I think that may be Mark Fisher standing in front of Dennis Lovelady right there. So. All right. I got to open up the folder here. Let's move this over here. Okay, you got to see Ron right there. Let's go ahead and now you can see this was a Mark Fisher is giving a presentation right here of video editing, and Mark did a absolute fantastic job on that. So hats off to Mark. He did a great job on that. And you get to see some more people here.
I want to make a library because I want to take from that folder, from that external hard drive, and carry all of those. A Nikon or whatever, you know what I mean? If I shot on an action. So I know they're at, they're categorized in each folder. So I can open up that folder. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to open up Mavic 3, and that's what all my stuff will be. And DCI, boom, boom, boom.
Okay, I think you guys got a flavor of that right there, and you actually got to see Valerie in that last shot. She was watching that and gave a pretty good perspective on where things were. Now, there wasn't a great deal of area to fly from. It was enough, though, and it was a gorgeous view out over the causeway here, if you want to call it that. I believe that's probably the right terminology for that. But it was great. It was absolutely great. Now, let's see. I'm going to welcome some people here. Just want to make sure I catch up with everything. Art's in the house. Welcome, Art. I know you're here. Glad to see you. Hope you have safe travels back. Flying Flynn Media, Uncle Bill's Toys. Uncle Bill, welcome. JC Flying. Johnny's in the house. Lauren's in the house. Let's see. Drone Shots, Jaybird, Quadcopters and Tech, Drone Shots, Drone Views Media, Maddie's Drone World, JC Flying, Flying Flynn Media, Dr. Ted Bowman, Maddie's Drone World. Let's see who else. Akarasho. Who else we got? Cat 777123. That's Valerie, by the way. Drone Views Media, Michael Blade, FPV. Let's see who else we got. Just want to run through and make sure we get everybody here. Got a great crew in here tonight. Okay. All right. I think I covered everybody, but yeah, how about that? Cat 7723 is in there. Hey, Maddie, how are you, my friend?
Hello, Mr. Bill. What's going on?
Good to see you. You know, I was just telling everybody, I'm still in that glow from the afterglow from the meetup. I mean, it was just, and I got to say this, and I know Ron and Marcus talked about this last night. It was great to fly. But you know what? That wasn't the best part of this. It never is. Okay, it's meeting everybody.
Yeah, it's the best part. Last year, we got a glimpse of that when everybody showed up. It was like overwhelming because you see all these people online all the time, and you never get to see them in person. But when you do, it's like a big family reunion, bro. It really is. And so this year, when we found out how many people were actually going to be there, I was a bit nervous. I'm sure Ray was too, but it worked out. It could not have gone any better.
Oh, I know.
The weather, everything held out. The flying was good, both FPV and camera drone guys. It turned out to be one hell of a weekend, and I'm a little upset that it's over. But
yeah, I hear you. And here's the man of the hour, Captain Ray. Captain Ray, how are you, my friend?
Hey, Bill. Maddie.
Hey, buddy.
Long time no see.
I know. But I tell you, Bill, we were just
talking. It's like we're still in that afterglow from the meetup. I mean, it was just it's like okay, it's like telling your mom and dad no, you want to go back outside because you were having so much fun, kind of thing. That's what it was like. Ray, my hat's off to you, and I know Maddie helped out, and I know Johnny helped out, and others, but again, the whole drone community wants to thank you for what you did because it's just and I just said this to Matt. I said, you know what, it's great to fly, but it's even better. I mean, I can fly from home, but I can't go out and rub shoulders with Idaho Quadcopter and Drone Nation and Maddie's Drone World and Captain Ray and Johnny Drone Flower. It's there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah. No doubt about it, man. We had such a great crowd down there. There were 83 people that signed in, and more came that signed in. I would say we had over 100, definitely.
Wow, that in and of itself really kind of speaks volumes. And I was kind of joking with Valerie. I'm like, okay, driving down there, it took about 3 hours for us to get down there from Tampa. But I was joking around. I says, well, I don't know what's going to cost more, our room or the gas for coming down here because of the price of gas right now. But I
want to thank you for coming, really. And you brought your lovely wife Val.
That was a pleasure meeting her.
Got to meet her.
Glad you guys got a chance. You guys can see now why I'm such a great hit. It's because of her. Okay, every time I bring her somewhere, it's boom. I brought her to my high school reunion. I was the hit of the high school reunion. Guess why? And it wasn't because of me. Okay,
that's usually how it works.
Yeah, you know what I learned. See, that's just Matt. You learn from us older people. Okay, that's the secret. Happy wife, happy life. Okay?
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, and I think you probably know that. Okay, because I'll tell you what. I take care of the missus, making sure she's got her needs met. And you know what? We do everything together. Okay. It's a joy to be with her all the time. It really is. She wants to be involved. She wants to be there. She wants to meet you guys. Okay. It was just absolutely fantastic. I watched Ron and Marcus last night, and they did a pre-recorded show. But they were talking, and this is great. And I gotta say this. It took over an hour to give away everything. Okay.
Ray, a lot.
That's
It was a
incredible. That really is.
We ended up having a lot of sponsors, and it's one of those things that it wouldn't have been successful without people who came, first of all. And I gotta say thank you to all our sponsors. Really, we had so many of them this year, and the list would take me an hour to read again. And it was just amazing. It really was. And the United States Army was there. For me, that was a big thing.
That was big for me too.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Ray. I don't know, Ray, if I shared with you or not. My son-in-law served in Afghanistan, and
yes, I heard you mention one of the soldiers.
And I talked to several of the gentlemen, and shared that with them. And I told him he was from the 37th in Ohio, and it was ironic that my former late father-in-law, he was in the 37th in the Korean War. So it was kind of, he's gotten a lot of his memorabilia from there, and he knows the history of the 37th in Ohio. And, I was sharing with him about that. But you know what? It's, and I told every one of them, I says, you know what? When I say thank you for your service, it's not just a cliche. I said, I came from the family, my father was a World War II veteran.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Same
it's
here.
like, it's automatic for me. It's not a question of anything about that. So
yeah, both my grandfather and my father were both Army. My grandfather in World War II and my father in Vietnam. So I know that feeling.
Yeah. It's it's part of who you are, and it's in your DNA. It's in my DNA too. I mean, we scattered my dad's ashes. His ship is a museum down in Corpus Christi, Texas. My older son and I flew down, and we scattered his ashes on the flight deck, because that's where he was aviation ordnance maintenance. That's where he did his thing, was on the flight deck of the carrier. So,
wow.
But again,
nice, very emotional too.
It was very emotional, and just such a wonderful way of connecting, because it's still history, and I love things to do with history. Ron and Marcus shared last night. Okay, we had an event that happened at the meetup. Okay,
a little bit,
and I got their permission to share this clip from them last night, because I really wanted to have them on, but I knew they were going back home. But I was real happy to come across this. I asked them. They said, sure, you can definitely share it. So we're gonna let them explain what happened here. And it's it's interesting. Let's just say that, okay?
It was interesting to watch, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I was watching it when it happened.
Yeah. That was
everybody's on. We did fly more normal, because when you're at these events, and and you have a channel like Marcus and I, whatever, live show, we tend to do more meet and greet than we do actually fly, and that's fine with me. I mean, anybody that wants to come up and have a conversation with me, I'm more willing to engage anybody. And I think that's why I do here to kind of represent the channel, the community more than flying, because again, we do a lot of flying afterwards, before, whatever. But we do want to kind of straighten the story out here. I mean, I know there's going to be rumors out there, whatever, but, at one point, well, even discussions during, we mentioned this in the last show, we talked Marcus into bringing his Autel Nano Plus along, because a lot of people had never saw the Nano before. I had never seen the Nano. We talk about it all the time in the channel, but I mean, I have an Autel Evo 2 Pro, so I know the Autel products, but I never saw a Nano or Light, and I don't think anybody had Light there. I still haven't seen Light. I show you his Hot Rod, and the Hot Rod doesn't have it. He has a Nano. So anyhow, Marcus got his Nano, and he had a great flight, a problem-free flight with it, whatever. And and then he asked if I wanted to fly, and I would love to try that out. And we were right kind of at the small pavilion where we kind of had set up, where we were going from, and I took it up, and he's all set almost from the beginning how well he thought it could fly. He's completely right. The thing flew just as good as the DJI drones.
I want to preface this by saying that one of the things everybody that watches my channel knows, every time I start a screen recording before I do anything. Ron was flying the drone, and I had just flown it, and he was using my phone, because obviously you don't have the app on your phone, so on your iPhone. So I thought, well, geez, when we talked about it, even I thought, man, should I start a screen recording? And I thought, no, Ron's just, you know.
I was messing around here. I'm gonna have footage.
Should have started one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I got my GoPro out because I wanted to video Ron's impressions of the drone and everything. And you had a really good flight. I mean, you were flying it around. You were doing some pretty good maneuvers.
And when pretty good flight. I flew for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, maybe.
I flew right in front of us. I mean, like, you know, I mean, talk about line of sight. It was like line of sight for people with bad eyes, whatever. I was right in front of us. We were right over the borderway. I was whipping it back and forth, whatever. It handled like the dream. All over the place.
What I was saying. I was
doing orbiting and so on, all right from me. I think I forgot to start the cabin first, and Mark Fisher stuff. And he said, "What you got there?" I said, "This is Marcus's all-tail drone." I said, "You should fly this thing, Mark." He does like it's like saying stuff I'm doing. He's whipping around right in front of us. I mean, it didn't go far at all, whatever. We didn't range test. We didn't test the range at all. And he loved it too, whatever. And he flew for the same thing, not even 2 minutes. He said, "Let me do a hand catch." So he brought it, he caught it with his hand. He still has it with his hand. He still has his hand. He hands the controller. He said, "Watch my hand." And Marcus said, "Do down and in." You know, I started the propellers, whatever, and I did it, but they didn't turn on. And I didn't do it again. And they turned on and put the red on Marcus' hand. And I took it, you know, we looked at the log or whatever, and I thought it was 20 feet out, but it went like 35, 40 feet out. Yeah. So anyhow, I took it out there, and I just hovered it. I saw the big Bob Dempsey was standing beside me. It's a funny thing, big Bob Dempsey, but Bob Dempsey beside me, and you know,
because you were talking to Bob, so
you
were just letting the drone hover.
And I was worried about batteries. So I looked at it and I said, "Oh, it's got 85% battery life." And Chris John heard me say that too. He was right beside it. Yeah. And I said, "Oh, it's got 85% battery life." And I looked back at Bob again. And next thing I know is I look up and, you know, it's turned sideways like this, like a rocket to the ocean. And I mean, and what we laid on to it, I hit the up stick or whatever, you know, for it to fly upwards. But I think by the time I hit that stick, it was underwater. Yeah, so it was like a delayed reaction. And Bob and I are just stunned, you know. And I said, did a bird hit it? Did the drone hit it? And again, Christopher John ran up and said, "No, it just fell out right out of the sky."
Well, let me say this. So while you were doing that, and you were talking to Bob Dempsey, I had my GoPro, and of course Mark was standing there, and it's always fun to talk to Mark Fisher. So I had my GoPro looking at Mark Fisher, and I was kind of doing a little interview with him. Talking to him, and I figured I would integrate that into the video, right? Which, of course, we still will. But then I hear Ron behind me. He goes, "It's in the water." It's in the water. And I'm thinking, okay, I wasn't even. It didn't even faze me. I'm thinking April Fools, right?
Yeah.
Not a fool's joke.
Pretty soon it became apparent that you were deadly serious.
Because Bob Dempsey, we were stunned. We were stunned, you know. And then Christopher John ran up, and when I was speculating, you know, what happened, he said it just fell right in the water. And then some people speculate that maybe the sensors, you know, I had it maybe 20 feet in the air, and I forget did we establish that on the log?
I can't.
I don't think it was the water.
It was 25 feet up in the air. So you know, maybe that was close enough that the downward sensor to see the water. But we've all seen that happen before. When a drone gets fooled by the downward sensor, it slowly descends and sinks itself in the ocean. It doesn't turn sideways and drop like a rock. I mean, why Marcus thought we were joking. It happened so quick.
Yeah.
It was any time you notice. You would have never saw this thing. It was in the water within.
Oh, well, seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't looking at it. I was talking to Mark.
Yeah.
But when you said that, I looked out at the ocean thinking that I would see the drone hovering there.
Yeah,
it
and the screen was frozen on the drone. You see the camera, see it looking underwater. That's the last thing that happened before it froze. So then, you know, then we went.
God, I wish I'd had a screen.
And a whole bunch of people saw it, but nobody actually had it fallen into the water. People like Christopher John had footage, but it was like a V and Bob or whatever. Like he kind of turned away from the drone. But here's the point: the drone was not actually moving when this happened. there was no hands on the sticks. You know, I had to control my hand with no fingers on the sticks. It was hovering. It did this from a hub.
Yeah.
It did not do it. And believe me, I was whipping around as fast as I could earlier.
Yeah,
and
you think
fine,
if it was like a loose fabric or something, that's when it would.
Yeah.
So our speculation is this: that either it threw a blade, although I'm almost, if it threw a blade, you typically hear it. You know, you'll hear a change.
And it sounded fine the whole time. I flew Mark flew it.
Yeah, you'll hear a change in pitch. So maybe not. But or a motor just quit.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened.
What represented you? Just a ballpark? How many flights do you think we had? This is your second. This is the original. Now this is your second one.
This is the one that Autel sent me.
Just speculate how many.
Yeah, I mean, I had.
Well, I'm gonna.
Yeah. Good interview. That was interesting.
It really was. I mean, we got there. I mean, it was just like minutes after this happened. Everybody's walking up to me. Did you hear what happened? Ron was flying Marcus's drone. It's in the water right now. And then guess who's in the water trying to find the drone? Okay, your offspring. Okay, and God bless him for. Man.
Yeah, he tried, man. That would have been cool if he would have found it, but he found
another one.
Yeah, he found the FPV drone that went in. There was an FPV drone that went into the water at the pavilion just west of the one that we were all in. And the dude lost signal coming over the pavilion, and it just straight like a rock right in bonk. So I went and got my son. I said, "Hey, you want to go swimming again?" And he said, "Really? Why?" I said, "There's another drone in the water, bro." So he went. I gave him my sandals, and he jumped in, and he found it. It was an 8-inch FPV drone, but
that was great. I saw the guy walking over towards the sign-in table, and I saw the drone dripping.
Yeah, it was soaked. Yep.
And your son was the hero this year's hero of the South Florida Drone Meetup.
That would have been cool if he would have found that Nano Plus, but I mean, the water was super murky, so it's not like he could dive down and open his eyes. It was really, really murky. So,
yeah, I was going to say, there's visibility is probably next to zero there, and it's just, sediment and everything, and who knows if current could have carried it, million things, kind of a thing. I got to say this about everybody at the meetup. Everybody knows how to eat and eat well. I can say that. Okay. No questions asked, especially when we went out Saturday night. Okay, people's plates were clean. I saw. When they were going back. Okay,
that's good food.
There was a lot.
Duffy's Grill is a great restaurant.
Duffy's is great food, man.
Well, I tell you what. You know what was real interesting? I got to know. I think his name is John. It's from those guys. Okay, is it John or Johnny? I'm not 100% sure.
Those guys, Herman and Lawrence.
Yeah. Well, the other gentleman who was from the Marines, okay, he lives in North Carolina. I think his name's John or John.
JC.
Oh, JC. JC Flying, yeah.
JC Flying, okay. Valerie and he told some of the greatest stories in the world. He graduated from high school in 1964, okay, and he told us when he came back to the States, he was in Vietnam. When he came back to the States, he bought a 68 Camaro out in California, brand new, drives it back over to New York, and you know what? He saw a brand new Corvette. He traded it in on the spot and bought the Corvette. Okay, and he also said he was an airplane. He was a mechanic, an airline mechanic. Tells stories about how he got gas and didn't have to pay for it, and all this kind of wow. I'm telling you guys, it was just. He just had all these kind of great stories, but then Lawrence and I'm sorry, what was the other guy's name from
Herman?
Lawrence and Herman was telling us, and this was real interesting because I think you guys know that Valerie and I went to the Mavic 2 event they had in New York City in 2018. Well, Herman was telling us, he goes, we fly right by there. He said that's where we fly all the time. I said, you're kidding me, by Douglas Green? He says, yeah, by Douglas Greenhouse. And then he showed me one of his videos, and I got to see some of the area, and I says, yeah, that's exactly where we were. That was so cool. He was great. I really liked talking to him. It was nice. It was really nice.
That was on Sunday.
Oh, that was a moment right there, Bill.
Oh my gosh. How many drones are up there?
We had 10.
10, right? Photo.
Wow.
10 photos. Now, it didn't go fully according to plan.
But DJI came through.
We had 2 collisions. Marcus's Mavic 3 and Tammy Jean's DJI FPV drone decided to kiss. Neither they started to fall and they both caught each other.
Wow.
And it was good. And then TJ's Mini 2 had some weird height issue going. Greg Pittman's Mini 2 was above him, and TJ's Mini 2 started just rising for no reason. And he nailed Greg Pittman's Mini 2, and both of them went falling and caught themselves.
They both recovered.
Both of them.
Wow.
Yeah. It was it was a bit sketchy, but it was cool though. We beat our record because we had 7 up at Spin Up, and we ended up getting 10 up on.
Well, I remember hearing when Ken Dono was down at Spin Up, and I'm not sure which one, about his crash into the fence kind of deal with his Mavic. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Yeah. So Ray, got a question for you. Do we have a save the date for 2023 yet?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we do. Actually, we do. April 1st, 2023.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And the location will be announced, but if we can't find a better location, we're going to have it right there again.
Well, you know what? I got to say this. Okay. And you know, it was fantastic because, you know, having those shelters, and if you're not from Florida, you don't realize how wonderful it is to have shade. Okay.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's a must when you're in the state of Florida. Okay. You got to have, well, it's like, okay, up north, everybody parks for a spot closest to the entrance of wherever you're going to. Down in Florida, you park where there's shade. Okay. That's kind of like a given kind of a thing here. So, you know, that was a great spot. I really liked it. I thought it was pretty good access to, like, not only where, you know, and we're going to book earlier than we did because, you know, although Comfort Inn and Suites was pretty good, but it would have been nice staying with everybody. Valerie and I kind of talked about that and said, you know, we're going to make sure we get that taken care of sooner rather than later. So
everybody loved the hotel. They loved that hotel, and they said, I already heard it from 2 people. If you have it in that area, have it at that hotel.
Yeah. I think it's definitely worth doing again because it was the accommodations were good, the price was good. So,
well, you know, the most important.
I have 9 names on the list right now. Should I put you and Valerie as 10 and 11?
Yes.
All right.
Done. Seriously, unless you know, unless the earth moves, and the crowd shakes, or COVID-20 hits us, you know, we'll be there. You know, that's a given. We had, and you know, and it came, and you guys know, it came at a really good time for us because the weekend before, in a memorial service for my father-in-law, Val's father.
Yeah.
And you know, the timing on this was so good, just to get away, just to you know, exhale from everything that's been going on for us, and just to really chill out. And well, the other good thing was, okay, now our location, I kind of like this. Okay, there was a Starbucks real close to us, so you know, it's like life revolves around. You know, it's like with my wife. I don't know if you've seen a picture of those coffee mugs. It has a line up at the top. It says, "Don't talk to me." Has a line at the bottom that says, "Okay, you can talk now." Okay, that's Valerie. Okay, that line at the bottom when she's had her coffee. Okay, so coffee is like muy importante for me on events like that, and good coffee places. The other thing that was nice for us, there was a Publix right across from us, so that was great. Instead of having to go to like a 7-Eleven. Or something like that, we could walk into Publix and get stuff, and there were plenty of like 2 for $3 kind of deals, and we stocked up.
Any BOGOs?
Oh, I love BOGOs. That's the only thing I look for when I go to some. Why else go to Publix except for BOGOs, man?
Got to.
Come on.
Got to. Well, okay. Well, guys, you've heard it from Ray. Save the date, April 1st, 2023. Okay. You know, I'm sure Ray's going to form another group, and you know, keep updating the information. So make sure you look for it. And I also want to say to everybody who was there who didn't get a sticker from me, okay, email me at billthedronereviewer@gmail.com. I will, you know, with your address and name, and I'll get you guys a sticker out. Okay. Look at this. Look at
I
this.
mean, you think about the ID cards and the coasters. Brad did
coaster-
an amazing job, didn't he?
It worked out really well. Yeah.
Those coasters were in IDs. Yeah, that was spot on. That really was. So yeah. So guys, save the date already, as they say. All right. It's just too good. Looks like Stephen Ewing said he might be there, and I'll tell you what, guys. I don't know about you, but I will buy him breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay. He's one of my favorite people in the drone community.
I'm really hoping that next year we get a lot more people from overseas coming over. I think we will.
That would be wonderful. That would be absolutely wonderful.
Up north, we get those northerners up in Canada to come down.
Yeah, Lauren too.
You're listening, Lauren?
Lauren.
He'll be here. We can count on him.
Just when you think, there's no more news about the Mavic 3, there's more news about the Mavic 3. Okay. And it's just like, I'm like, okay, what in the world else is going on right now? Okay. And, first of all, they're offering $150 off. Okay.
I saw that.
I'm like, what time out here? What the heck's going on? I saw this article on Drone DJI, or no, I think Ron told me about it. Ron Marcus told me about it. DJI's all new Mavic 3 quadcopter sees standalone discount, $150 off. Okay. Amazon. Let's see. Just looking here. They're not. I heard there were some other kind of discounts, but I didn't really see that. But again, all these articles that I post on here are out on Build a Drone Reviewer Facebook group and Facebook page. And guys, do you think this signals anything? I mean, like a Mavic 3S? What do you guys think?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
I think it's a little soon if another drone comes out, but they had some issues with it, so this could be their way of correcting it. Really?
Yeah. That's a good point, Ray. That's a really good point. And they call it S. And what we talked about last week was with that S designator meant for satellite. Okay, it'll take care of that issue. And then the other thing that came out right now, DJI Mavic 3 Enterprise Edition body shell seen in leaked photo. This was from Hey Kestelou on Drone XL, and you get to see like it had on the Enterprise, the Mavic 2 Enterprise Edition, that little port right there where you could put in all those attachments.
Yeah, right.
Loudspeaker, spotlight, LED beacon. It sounds like they'll probably follow the same type of a pattern that they did before.
It looks that way
as far as that's concerned. Yep. Now, and the other thing, and I got to share this with you guys. Okay. Now, I did my update right before the meetup. Okay. I charged all my batteries. I did the update, and then it was windy. It was like 45-mile-an-hour wind, so I wasn't going to fly, but I just wanted to get it up a few feet in the air to see how everything was going. All right. I had not had a lick of problems with GPS until I did that update. And then it took me 5.5 minutes to get 13 satellites to be able to take off. Okay?
Huh.
Yeah. How many minutes?
About 5.5, Ray.
Wow.
I was standing out in front of my driveway. Now, I've done it on my driveway before. It would take me 30 seconds to get enough satellites. Okay. So it was like, okay, this was, and then we also saw last week, and we talked about this too, was, they were kind of trying to say, well, and it was posted out on the DJI forums. They were talking about how, they were talking, it's just, there was a GPS chipset made for autos, and they were in more plentiful supply than the ones for the Mavic 3, and it was okay to use them, so they used them, but it didn't have the memory that the one for the Mavic 3 has, and all this stuff. And then we're finding out that no, that's kind of like just a false news kind of deal, and that really wasn't true and everything. So, I'm just, I have to say this, and this is the only thing that makes me think that, okay, that this issue is both hardware and firmware, because if they're coming out with a Mavic 3S to do that, that tells me that it's hardware. Okay, because in order to get this corrected, it's both a hardware and a software kind of a thing. And if that's the issue, then DJI is going to be faced with hundreds of thousands of Mavic 3s coming back and have to get retrofitted with a new chip. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, you're right. I you're gonna laugh at this, but every time I went to fly my Mavic 3 at the meetup, somebody would come, and I couldn't stay with the drone. One time I left it on for 10 minutes and went back and shut it off. But anyway, and finally the third time later in the afternoon, I started it up and I immediately got my satellites. So I got to say that I don't know. It was immediate. So, but I tell you, like Lauren said in the chat, the sales were disappointing, and this could be another reason why they're going to come out with this new drone. Get some more interest.
Yeah, that's a good point that Lauren raises, because DJI doesn't knock prices down without a reason. Okay,
of course.
The Action 2, their sales were disappointing. Of course, everybody knows about the overheating issues, and everybody's heard about that. But for me, even thinking about it, I wouldn't even think about it. First of all, I love my DJI Osmo Action. Okay, I used it at the event, and I got great footage off it. I'm going to be putting a clip together, but I wouldn't even, the modular concept for me, I got lost when they started doing that. Okay, I'm like, okay, what's this? I want something I can put on like a selfie stick and use it. That would end up being a tripod. I can attach like I have a Rode microphone that I've attached to it. It works perfectly. I have absolutely, and the footage I get off of it is fantastic. So there's no need for me to even think about another action camera. But here with this, okay, the Mavic 3, I agree. I think the sales were probably a little bit on the downside, and I think part of it had to do with the fact, obviously, the price point was, it's pricey, all right. And the other thing beyond the price point is now, it's well known that it's having a GPS issue as well too. So I'm sure these two things combined have caused that to happen. I just absolutely think that. Now, while we were at the meetup, okay, it's like that Saturday, Asita and company shared some new photos. And what great photos did they share? And I'm going to go ahead and bring that up right now. It was like, in the article, and this is from Drone DJ. Go ahead and share the screen here. Okay, massive leak reveals 4 major DJI Mini drone features. Okay, and then we're gonna DJI Mini 3 will weigh under 250 grams, 0.55 pounds. Something we probably already knew, but I mean, it really kind of made sense. Drones weighing less than 250 grams are subject to minimal legislative requirements in the U.S. For example, recreation drones that weigh 0.55 pounds or less need not be registered with the FAA. Okay. Now, improved camera performance and video stabilization. We expected DJI to up the ante by giving the Mavic Mini 3 a better camera, especially considering the competition this drone is going to get from the newly launched Nano series. The higher-end Pro version of the Mini 3 would feature an improved sensor and a maximum aperture of f/1.7, allowing the camera to accept more light, thus facilitating better low-light performance. And in line with what professional drone users may expect, Mini 3 Pro would also feature a 3-axis mechanical gimbal for improved video stabilization. Okay. Now, they talked about the leaked picture there, and it said the gimbal seen in the leaked video is only attached on one side, a non-conventional design to say the least. While earlier it's being speculated the design was meant to support a vertical shooting mode, a more likely justification is this drone may have crashed during a test flight and lost a part of the gimbal. Okay.
Yeah.
Obstacle avoidance sensor. We've known about that. Better flight time. The Mini 3 may also allow you to stay in the air for longer with this improved 2453 milliamp hour battery. The Mini 2's 2250 milliamp hour battery offers a maximum flight time of 31 minutes. Most also be highlighted, though, is the outgoing drone weight 242 grams, 7 grams less than the Pro version of the Mini 3. So we'll need to see if that has any impact on the final battery performance. On the bright side, the arms of the Mini 3 are the same aerodynamic design as the new Mavic 3, and that's definitely going to improve the new drone's performance here. And you can see some of these on here. Now, earlier leaks have indicated that DJI would launch its new sub-250 drone sometime in April 2022. And given that the product testing is in full swing right now, an official announcement could be forthcoming within the next few weeks. In the meantime, we'll keep an eye out for more leaks and details, such as the camera sensor softwise of that. Now, what was real interesting here, I'm going to try to bring this picture up, and this is on Twitter, and you can see up here where the arrow has Mini 3P, which obviously, you know, that kind of stands for Pro. So I'm interested to get your guys' thoughts on all this. What do you guys think?
Well, I know there's a second part of that gimbal. You can see a dampener in that arm, and it was cracked, which means it definitely was crashed.
Yeah.
So you can see the crack on the bottom of the
it's right. It's right. It's right there.
Right on the side there where the gimbal, the other half. But I don't see another portion of that gimbal. I don't know. I think it's a one side. I think it's one side because the Skydio does that too, doesn't it? It comes the gimbal. The gimbal is actually held off the side.
Yeah,
so it would be a smart move. It would be a smart move, especially with it being able to 180-degree tilt.
It's a very unique looking camera setup for a DJI drone.
Yeah, you're right,
it's definitely different.
It really is. I mean, you know, the last drone I remember, you know, even kind of that was not so atypical for DJI was the Spark, because, you know, that had a 2-axis gimbal, and, you know, and it didn't look like what we're normally accustomed to. Well, one of the things here that I also want to kind of talk about too, you look on the bottom here, and this obviously looks like a controller down here at the bottom, you know, and I know, and it kind of looks, you know, I'm going to hate to say it, it kind of looks almost like, and now I don't even know what kind of controller that may have been from something else.
That's the Nano controller, because you can actually see in one of the pictures, you can see the Auto Nano in the background.
You're right, Maddie. That's great. That's a great point, because I know both Ron and Marcus and I were under the impression that maybe that this Pro version might carry what some people have referred to as a dumbed down version of a smart controller. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, guys, if that's the case with the Mini 3, okay, it will explode as far as sales are concerned.
I agree.
The price will be too high, though.
You're right. It will, Ray. That is a very good point. And I think what DJI, if they're smart, what they'll do is, you know, they'll not only offer a combo version, but they'll offer like a la carte kind of a thing. Like you can get a Mini 3 with a standard controller, or a Mini 3 Pro, or you can get a Mini 3 Pro all decked out with our new smart controller. Now, yeah, that's going to go north of $1,000. Okay. And I can see, you know, for guys like us who dabble in this, and, you know, and have a few coins laying around some of the time, you know, and Santa Claus is really good to us, may get them. But, you know, for the average, you know, especially because this is kind of geared toward millennials, okay, and younger, and you know, those coming out of high school, those in college, those in their 20s, okay. You know, this is who this drone is geared for, so it may not hit them as well. But then again, you know, as we shared previously, you know, that's what the Mini 2 is good about. Okay. You know, it has a good price point. It doesn't have the obstacle avoidance, but, you know, and I got to say this, you know, because I've had all the Mini drones. I've had the original Mini. I've had the Mini 2. I had the Mini SE. I never missed obstacle avoidance 1 second on those. I mean, obviously, and you guys are the same way because you're experienced drone flyers, you know, if you've had experience with it. And, you know, and I kind of have a tendency to think, you know, people, who get these are, you know, if you're spending $400 on it, you know, it's not a $50 toy drone. Okay. That if you crash, you can go out on Amazon and buy another one tomorrow, kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I still think they can get the price point below $1,000.
All I know is I'm going to get it.
Oh, I know.
Well,
too,
I plan on buying it. Yeah. I mean, I'm not huge into camera drones as much as I was. I mean, my Air 2S is plenty sufficient enough for me, but having a Mini 3 in my FPV backpack wouldn't be a bad idea.
You know, for me, okay, having a mini drone is absolutely fantastic. But, one of the things that people have to realize, and this is something, I've also heard rumors it's going to have more, capability of being able to fly in higher winds. All right.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because when the original Mini came out, that was one of the knocks was, it was difficult. If it was over 20-mile-an-hour winds, it's just like, guys, we couldn't even think about flying it that day. It was that kind of thing. So
warning on my first flight, the wind warning.
mm-hmm. Well, and I know you guys were talking about how, last year at the meetup, how the wind just, unfortunately, took the day away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Bill Ronayne still put his Mini 2 up in the air.
Mini 2 was up and he handled it like
and it handled it just fine.
Wow.
Yeah, the Mini 2 can handle higher winds than people think, which is quite surprising because it's so damn small, but it handles it and it handles it well.
Well, you hear the motors compensate, and I've told people this, guys, DJI puts, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck, okay? Because I think DJI, they put in, you'll hear one of the motors starts revving up more than another one, okay? And that's how you get these balanced shots, even in the wind, okay? Because they're compensating. And I can hear, especially like if I had my Mavic 3 and it's a windy day and I'm, from like 75, 100 feet, I can hear that compensating to keep it level. It's a buttery smooth shot. It's amazing.
Yep. It's impressive. Yeah. That is for sure.
Yeah, they do great work. So, and I wouldn't be surprised, and I know they didn't talk about it in the articles. I would say any day now, we're going to see something hit the FCC database. We're going to see a picture of those labels, and some other information. We'll start getting a lot more on that, because the more the leaks come out, the closer we're getting not only to, first of all, to the FCC a database being leaked out, but then, or being, what that means is actually DJI, the only drone, or no, I won't say the only one, but I thought I had them down pat back in the day. But with the Spark, they actually didn't put the FCC database information on until the day they released it, which they can do.
Yep, okay. They can wait all the way up to last minute.
Yeah, they can do that. So, they've been, but I think they they're very smart with their marketing. Okay.
Yeah.
They're not, they don't hold things back with that. And when they generate interest and they get free publicity with all this, boom. Okay. And they've gotten smart, like with their releases. Okay. Now, last time they had a full on drone release was when we went to New York City in 2018 over in Brooklyn. Okay. Yeah. They don't do that anymore. It's all on the web. They'll put out a video like they did with the Mavic 3, and then boom, a half hour later, it's up available on the site for sale, kind of a thing. And it saves them Now, I can tell you this, DJI spent a boatload of money. Okay. They rented out Dougal Greenhouse down in Brooklyn. Okay. And that ain't cheap. All right. And the way they had it set up in there, it was all first class. Mm-hmm. So, they do things right, Ray. I mean, and Matt, they really know how to do it well. So,
yeah. Got home, by the way, just to let you guys know. It looks like he got home. Johnny, home?
Yeah, Johnny got home. Mike's on his way to Texas.
Right.
Yeah, I saw Johnny in the chat, so I kind of assumed he was at home. So that's good.
Yeah,
that's good to hear. I know Mike had some issues with the wheel on his truck. So I was hearing about that. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, they got that fixed. So they're good to go.
That was good. That was good to hear.
Hey, Bill,
yes,
I'm going to jump off, buddy. I'm going to get ready for my show here.
All right. Thank you so much for stopping by tonight, Matty.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you for having me on.
Good luck with your show.
Appreciate it, buddy. Ray, I'll see you soon, buddy.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Good. Thanks for your help again.
Ray, and I got to say this, okay?
Oh, really, and I don't mean to change the subject again, back to the South Florida Drone Meetup, but the committee that I put together, Maddie, Johnny, and Brad and Bill, we're a great team, first of all, and they helped me tremendously to make this successful. Really,
that's what I was just going to ask you that about your team. That was the next thing I was going to ask. Is I kind of wrapped up with a Mini 3, but I was going to ask you about that. You hear the phrase "teamwork makes the dream work."
Right, exactly. But you know, I want to mention this too, because on this poster, you let's see if I can get it right in front of the camera. You, this is Bill right here, guys.
Yep. I'll
Looks,
tell you what.
it's a spitting image of you.
It really is. It really is. Valerie saw it and said, "Wow, that was
Yeah.
great." Okay, that was absolutely fantastic. I mean,
So nice
that's
to
a
make
keepsake.
for everybody.
That's a keepsake. I'm going to get that straightened out and get that framed and have it hanging up in the wall, because that is an absolute classic. That really is. And Ray,
Exactly.
it was just, again, the best thing about that was shaking people's hands and getting to know them. And I got to say this, okay? And I said this before you and Maddie joined me. So, you know what? We need to bottle the energy from Mark Fisher, okay? Because if we could bottle the energy from Mark Fisher, we'd have all the world's energy problems solved in a second, okay? And I saw, I saw this. Johnny posted, and I love this, okay? Said, about coming back next year. Well, he said to Mark, he said, as long as you bring your wife, you can come back, okay?
No, I like that. I laughed when I read that. But that video that Mark put out on the group photo, that video he did the reverse droney, and then he added the special effects to it. It was amazing. It really was.
His and I absolutely and I told
skills are excellent.
He does. He have and Ray, that was a perfect kind of a talk, if you will, or a lesson or something. That was absolutely perfect, because that's something everybody uses and everybody does, because we're up there using a video, shooting a video or pictures, and learning how to edit is really, you can turn a good video into a great video by doing that. And Mark put on a first-class presentation. That was great. So Mark, hats off to you, my friend. You did a fantastic job. And yes, you can come back, but if you're without your wife, it's going to cost you, pal. You're gonna have to buy us dinner, okay?
It's true.
But Ray, I also want to.
We got to plug his meetup. His meetup, the Rhode Island Drone Meetup Group's meetup, is July 30th. For anybody who's got some free time or vacation time in the summer, I tell you, and Rhode Island is an amazing place to fly. I went to the first one that they had, and it was a great meetup. And I know this one that's coming in July is going to be even better.
Well, we will make sure. I'm going to tell. You know what? I'll probably get Mark on before, and we can go ahead and plug it. Because Mark is the real deal. I absolutely, and Shirley Temples. Oh my gosh, I was beside myself. He was ordering Shirley Temples to drink. I looked at Valerie. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. He's fantastic. He really is. But everybody, and what was great for me too was meeting Art. Because Lloyd Mendenhall.
He caught a sea monster today while he was fishing.
I saw that.
And he caught a giant turtle.
The man knows how to fish, Ray. He really does. I mean, he does a great job with that. So, any closing thoughts here for tonight, Ray?
I tell you, Bill, just thank you for the invite, really. And I want to say thank you to everybody who attended the South Florida Drone Meetup. And thank you again to all our sponsors. And Bill, it was such a pleasure to meet you and your wife, really, and I'm looking forward to next year. I know it's a lot of work, so I'll have some relaxation for a few months, but then, I'll start preparing, and I'll get it together with the drone committee, and we're going to put on a bigger and better drone meetup next year. That's for sure.
Well, hopefully my funds will be such as, I would like to be one of the sponsors and give you some things to give away, because I think that's always.
Bill, I got your pen. I got your pen right here.
Okay. you got the pen. That's been, and I gotta say this. I was real impressed. I'm real impressed. I get all my merchandise like that through Vistaprint, and I get a really good deal. They have a lot of sales, and boy, they're very fast with shipping, and I think they do very quality work. I know Mr. Stephen Ewing can attest to the fact I got him a Build a Drone Reviewer mug, so he has one. And did I ever get you
shirts? I got one of your shirts. That was the grand prize.
Did you get a mug? Did I ever get you a mug, Ray?
I didn't get a mug, but I have your shirt.
We're gonna get you a mug, okay? You know, I'm definitely gonna do that because I think I got a couple in the prize closet here in my room that I can get to you. So, and Ray, my big thing is this, being able to meet everybody in, press the flesh and put a name on the face is just priceless. All you guys out there who I got an opportunity to meet, I'm very thankful for that. Valerie's very thankful to meet a lot of you as well. It was nice to see a lot of the wives that were there. I know Al Duran's wife was there. Ron and Marcus's wives were there. I think Greg Pittman's wife was there. It was nice to.
A lot of women there, and there were more children there this year too.
And there were more children there this year too. And and that's the wonderful thing. This is all. I think there's an important lesson here. Is we want to pass this on down to a younger generation. Can see. Ray. It's all about having fun, and that's what Friday and Saturday, Sunday, and I know Monday was a boat. It's about having fun. It's about having a good time. And
it's like we say on the Fly for Fun show. Get out there, fly for fun. And don't forget, 7 p.m. Wednesday night, Fly for Fun show.
Fly for Fun show. Ray, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. And I'm really very happy to get you on after the fact. And, I'm still in the afterglow myself with everything because it was just such a great time, such a wonderful weekend. And, I've already got the save the date already for 2023. And, bearing no bad weather or anything hits us, we're gonna have another incredibly wonderful time. And I got to say this, okay, having that at the billiard place like that, okay, that was a great place, Ray.
That was a great the food there, he came through on that too.
That was fantastic, and the food there was great. I mean, the food Valerie and I had. We were really impressed with it. It was really good.
What did you have? What was it?
We had like a shrimp scampi flatbread.
That's what I had. Delicious.
It was fantastic. It really was. Valerie and I are I'm like, okay, we shared it, and I looked at her and I said, "Do you want another one?" We both laughed. Yeah. We didn't get one, but it was so good. And the waitress there, the bartender waitress, she was
Kimmy.
Yeah, she did a great job. Great job. So, again, want to thank everybody for showing up tonight. Thank you guys so much. I want to thank Maddie. I know Maddie's getting ready for his show for being on. I hope Ron and Marcus have safe travels back to their respective homes. I'm already anxious for 2023 for the next meetup and to seeing all you guys again. But as always, guys, remember, it's a great day to fly. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your evening.